I'm back. Just trying to see. Finishing up the series.
For white, like
It's
brand
part-
new Calvin
it-
Klein underwear,
Sorry it took so long. I had to
and
move my run.
your
So it's like
shit
everything got
from a minute ago
flights.
left a little snail trail. It's showing that you did go
Yeah,
take a
yeah,
shit. To be
Well,
honest, I don't know how
yeah,
this
yeah,
relates to
yeah.
this, but anyways,
It's the subject.
okay, it shows where price went. So that means, right, if there's a wick all the way up here, that means within this 5-minute candle, yes, it didn't close up here, but price moved up to this point, okay? And then same thing with here, okay? Down here was the lowest price point that price went within these 5 minutes. So now we know, okay, this is the highest point it went to,
It's so hot.
and this is the lowest point it went to.
So hot.
Okay? Same exact thing on a bearish candle. Okay? Just slightly different.
So
Okay?
hot.
Instead, the
Hot.
open is up here. Okay? And the close is down here. Okay? So the close on a bearish candle is lower, obviously, and the open on a bearish candle is higher. Okay? Remember, oops. And again, right up here is the highest point that price was able to go to. Okay? And down here was the lowest point that price was able to go to. Perfect. Candlesticks fucking simplified by TJR. Now we can get rid of this bullshit. Okay? Now we are going to talk about candlestick patterns. And I know what you're going to say.
I'm so
You're probably
thirsty.
going
I
to say,
could
whoa, TJR.
Hey, 555.
Whoa, whoa.
I'm so thirsty.
Whoa.
I could drink cold.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What the fuck? I thought you hate candlestick patterns. I do. I hate the candlestick patterns that are based off
Can I get that
of
water again?
mountaintops, fucking W's, head, shoulders. That shit is BS. I also hate candlestick patterns.
Okay.
I really hate every single candlestick pattern that is that contains more than 2 candles. The only candlestick patterns I like, because they can actually show you price action and dictate where price is going to go, are the single candlestick patterns. Okay, so let's
Alright.
look up if this thing will load. Candlestick patterns cheat sheet. Hopefully this pulls up the single candlesticks. Okay, good. It has some of them on this. All right. Let's pull this thing up and let's zoom on in. Okay. So, first of all, we don't give a fuck about this entire top row. Okay? I also don't give a fuck about anything in here. Anything in here, anything from here and below. I only care about dojis, long-legged dojis. Long-legged dojis and dojis are the same thing. Okay? Cross dojis and inverse cross dojis, dragonfly dojis, hammers, okay? Those are the only things I care about, okay? Just this row. Forget about all this bullshit. This is garbage, okay? No, we don't give a fuck. All right? Just focus on this row right here, okay? And why are we going to be talking about this? Okay, it's because these candlesticks are showing price action and showing where price rejected and where it didn't. Okay? So, if I can honestly just find...
Just a second. I need a pencil. Or a pen.
these on the chart. I don't know why I pulled that up. But with a candle, this is just like a perfect example. With a candle like this one, right? We see price opens right here. It doesn't go low, right? It pushes all the way up to this point, but then closes down here. Okay? This candle is essentially saying to me, okay, we have strong bulls, but not strong enough to close. Damn. Not strong enough to close all the way up here or here or here or here. We left a fat ass wick up here, meaning it was not strong enough to close above whatever was residing above here. And more than likely, it was taking this liquidity. Okay? So, right, we knew that price pushed up, closed still bullish, but there was weakness because it couldn't finish out this candle, right? Now, let's find another example, okay? Right here. Okay, similar situation, but with a doji. Usually dojis, which are just small bodies of candles, okay, so when a candle looks like this.
You're not gonna believe what happened. Tell me everything. I'll show you on Monday.com. So I started the biggest initiative of the quarter. I did everything right. I used AI blocks to list all the tasks, delegate them to the team, set up all the timelines. It even wrote perfect descriptions, so everything was crystal clear.
Clearly, you're a professional.
Thank you. Suddenly, I get a message from leadership saying we need to finish the project a month before deadline.
Happens every time.
Good thing we have Monday.com. We just reshaped all the timelines, brought in freelancers to help, gave them some guest accounts. They had everything organized so they could just jump right in. We put up all the assets, waited for management to approve. Done. Everyone automatically got notified. We ended up reaching our goals 2 days before schedule and even under budget. We beat our projections for the quarter. Everyone cheered for us, and I ended up being a hero.
Wow, that's amazing.
When you use Monday.com, work is just easier. Isn't that nice?
That's really nice,
It is
honestly.
nice.
Enjoy the little things.
Yeah. Create your own personal success story on the first work platform you'll love to use. Monday.com.
If you get stuck on the melody, or if you just feel like you can't get a song started, Output's co-producer is very dope. They make it much easier for us to either get inspiration or to help us when we just can't find that right element. Let me show you guys how this thing works. I made a really quick beat, but it doesn't sound finished. And that's where a co-producer will come in to help you out. Load co-producer up just like that. Play the beat so it can capture the sound. It will go through the full library of all the Output sounds and give you suggestions on what you need to add to your track. I'm thinking of having some really lush pads. Find samples.
Okay, no, another thing. Yeah.
Dojis are great for reading price action. Okay, it's usually small body, long wicks, or just small body of a candlestick in general. Okay, looks like this. Okay, something like that of some sorts. Okay, probably not that long of candles of wicks, but you know what I get. You know what I'm getting at. Anyways, dojis are great because they can show us indecision in the market and indecision with a bias in one direction. Okay, so when we see this bearish doji, right, we're obviously not taking a trade off of this, but we need to be able to read the candlesticks, right? These are the small things that intuition can build, that experience builds by being able to see and read these candlesticks when most people aren't able to do that. Most people are saying liquidity was swept, we broke structure, but you guys can't even read these candlesticks. You don't even understand what these are saying to you, and they're telling you a lot of information. Okay, so this candlestick in particular, right, we see, boom, big sell-off down here, okay, and then we get to this candle. Okay, we get long wicks to the downside, but not a full body close, right? We don't see a big body close to the downside. It means we're losing bearish momentum. Okay, and as you can see, we did lose it. We start consolidating, pull up a little bit higher, and then nothing fucking happens after that. Right, so we lost bearish momentum with this candle. We can see that through the long wick to the downside, and then it failing to close lower in a regular size candle, right? This is a doji. This is showing indecision within the market. Okay, again, right, we see the long extension of a wick to the upside, all right, showing that, hey, you know, we pushed all the way up here, but we failed to close above here, right? We failed to close above these price points, and then what happened? We fell, okay? But this is not something you take a trade off of. This is just slowly learning and understanding, okay, these candlesticks and what they're trying to tell you. Okay, let's go over to gold. Gold can give us some great momentum, some great volume, and also shows us some great candlestick patterns, okay? Let's go to the daily. Where are we at? Okay. Right here. Okay. This is a great example, okay? We push up, we come down. Okay, yes, we formed a bullish doji, right? This is a doji candle. However, right, we failed to push up completely. Yes, we see strong rejection to the downside, and yes, we do see closures to the upside. Okay, this is why we cannot be taking trades purely off of candlestick patterns, because this is only one confluence. Okay, yeah, we see boom, super strong rejection to the downside with this wick, and then we close bullish still, right? But we're in a downtrend. We are continuously breaking structure to the downside. Okay, so that's an example of where we can't let our bias get lost in these patterns. Okay, these are very, very minimal in what you need to trade, but it is good to understand and to know and to learn these. If you don't know them already, they're fairly simple. You really just have to know, right, a fucking strong close, which is what literally a regular candlestick looks like to you. So like this candle, for example, is just a strong close, right? It's full. It has not a high wick to the upside. If anything, a high wick to the upside on this candle would be even more of a reason for it to be a strong close. And then also, right, the wick to the downside is fairly small, again, compared to the body, right? So we had a move to the downside and we were able to close and continue down, right? And it wasn't just a wick to the downside and then a move back on up showing weakness. Okay, let's just keep going through and spotting these on the chart. Okay, again, right, this candle is a great example of something where like we see liquidity get swept in almost like a confirmation candle. Okay, right, we see this long wick to the downside. Price at one point, remember guys, we have to understand that price was opened here. So at one point in time during this week, price was literally a big red candle from this point down. Right, everyone probably thought this shit is going to the floor, right? Because, and this is where like your headspace can get fucked up, because people get so caught up in the candle that's forming and not the candle that has formed. Okay, we can only make bias and decision on candles that have formed, not candles that are forming. Okay, that's why we always wait for a close for a break of structure, right? We have to wait for that candlestick to close because, right, it's not an actual candle until price action is done within, you know, whatever time frame that we're on. Okay, so this candle, for example, we get a strong rejection to the downside, right? Price pushed all the way down here, but then nope, was able to, first of all, opens down here, comes all the way down here, and then rallies all the way back up to this point and closes up here. That is a very, very strong bullish candle, right? We see massive wick to the downside, tiny wick to the upside, meaning it literally closed almost as bullish as it could have, right? On most bullish candles, you're going to get some sort of wick, and on most bearish candles, you'll get some sort of wick to the top side or to the downside. But when it closes so fully like this with a strong rejection to the downside, that is telling you a bunch. That's telling you 1,000 words, right? That candle is telling you exactly where price wants to go. Okay, what does price end up doing? Rallies higher, takes out these highs, etc. Okay, so this is all that I want you to do for today. I know today, boring as shit. Boring as hell. You're probably like, what the fuck? But, right, we're starting from the beginning. We're starting from a clear slate, okay? Trust me, we're going to bring you guys up with this, and it'll get going a lot quicker than you think, okay? So, all that I'm asking you to do is get on whatever chart you trade, okay? Whether it's SPX, GU, GJ, whatever, okay? Get on whatever pair that you trade, okay? Get on whatever pair that you trade and just spot these and see how market reacts. Like literally just being on this chart, I can see two. Boom. Massive wick rejection to the downside. Still not a good close, but what happens next? We do get a full bullish close. Boom. Rallies. Takes out these highs. Right? Okay. Similar to this, right? We have a doji, long wick to the downside, bullish close right here to the upside, right? We can use these two in confluence together. Right, we have this full candle and then this doji with a big wick to the downside showing rejection after several weeks of being down, right? We can show exhaustion through the dojis, okay, and then we get, boom, closure to the upside, price rallies, takes out these highs. So all that I want you to do, again, strong wick to the downside, full close, rallies. So all that I want you to do is choose whatever pair you trade, okay? And just look for these and see how price reacts off of these certain price points, okay? Find at least 10 examples, okay? This is your homework, all right? Find at least 10 examples of these doji candlesticks, okay? Understanding wicks within the market, right? There's a saying, wicks don't lie, and I literally think there's someone that teaches on like YouTube or Instagram named Wicks Don't Lie. I may be wrong though. It may be Fibs Don't Lie. I don't know. But wicks do not lie. Wicks and candlesticks tell the whole story, okay, of price action. No, we do not care about a fucking mountaintop. Look how that shit played out. Fucking horribly, right? You got stopped out. We don't give a fuck about mountaintops. We care about price action, okay? And that is what we are going to be studying this entire course, okay? So, with that being said, that's your homework, okay? Very, very short lesson today, but essential, okay, in you know, slowly gaining that fucking market experience that I know you guys need and want, okay? And honestly, these are going to be the lessons that are more important for you guys because this is shit that you guys probably brushed over and don't think about too often. So, homework is find 10 examples of this. Homework is find 10 examples of this on your own pair, on your own chart that you trade, okay? Take screenshots of it, fucking label them, do whatever you need, but not only do I want you to find examples of this on the chart, but find how price ended up reacting off of these examples, okay? And that will give you a better understanding of candlesticks, okay? the closes of candlesticks, how wicks work in this market. Okay, wicks tell so much of a story within this market. These candlesticks tell the entire story of this market. Okay, so if you cannot understand candlesticks, you won't be able to understand the market, because we have to read these things. These things are telling us a story, and we have to be able to read them and dissect them and understand them. So, with that being said, that is day 2, super short day. We're starting off slow. This is like syllabus week, right? We'll start you off with the easy shit, and then we'll get into the difficult stuff. Okay, so find 10 examples of that, and then I'll see you tomorrow. All right, peace.
I am 1 year free of nicotine, and I have never felt better. I didn't know if I would ever be able to say that, but here we are. With quitting some.
All right, boys, welcome to day 3 of the boot camp, my free trading course, whatever it's going to last all summer long. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed episodes 1 and 2, and I'm definitely not going to be saying this when it gets to fucking like episode 60, because then I would have to list every single one of them. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed the start of this. I know yesterday's video was kind of beginner, kind of simple, but again, right, I said we wanted to start from scratch, but trust me, it'll start vamping up real quick. However, while we are, I guess, working on these beginner concepts that most people are pretty familiar with, what better way to start working on our discipline and our mindset, okay? That's pretty much what I talked about for the majority of the first trading video, and I got a lot of great responses from that, so I appreciate to everyone showing love to me. That was our most viewed video. It's already at 10,000 views over the course of under a day, which is absurd for me. And then also, we got over 1,000 comments on that video, which is just unreal. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the love. Let's keep this going. And yeah, let's keep going with this. So with that being said, I do want this whole course to just alternate back and forth between trading and discipline. So, right, the first day, discipline, second day, trading. Today, discipline, tomorrow, trading. Okay, we are going to go back and forth because my biggest issue with courses is they do not prioritize psychology and mindset. They leave a section for it, just one little baby section, but is that enough? No fucking way. No chance in hell. So, what are we going to be talking about today? Literally just laying down that foundation for discipline, right? We talked about sort of what we can do sorry, my screen is all nasty, but we talked about sort of what you can try and do to start taking action on our first video. However, this video is just kind of going to give you guys an overview of what you guys should be looking for in terms of discipline within your trading, okay? And then as the days continue, we are going to get deeper and deeper into small concepts and things that you can do to improve your mindset, to improve your discipline, because like I said before in my TikToks, like I said in most of my videos, right, we are not trying to just turn you profitable in this. I'm trying to turn you from literally a boy into a man. And I know that sounds cliche and I know that sounds stupid, but I really do think there's going to be so much value given throughout this entire course to benefit you guys just in life more than just trading, because trading has taught me so many life lessons, and I would not be where I'm at today if it wasn't for those lessons that I learned through trading. Not even just the money from trading, but the lessons I learned have helped me, come to the point where I'm at today. So with that being said, today there's not going to be much trading. I did see 1 or 2 comments saying like, hey, why aren't we learning about trading? This is why. Me and you, we trade off the same strategy, right? And we'll teach that strategy when we get to it in this course. However, you guys aren't profitable, yet I am. What's the difference between you and me? Our mindset.
Right.
That's the only thing that is different, right?
I'm gonna stop before me. My head, everything.